Hey everyone, so it's that time again, new video. As you can see, I've already marked up my eyebrows and done my eye primer. I was a little bit stuck today for what to put in the video, so I kind of had a little bit of a think about it, and what I came up with was that I might show a couple of different eye looks and just random ones, because I've kind of done a lot of smoky eyes now, and I'm also waiting until I get up to a palette with lots of black in it, because someone requested that. You know who you are. So what I did was I wrote down a few looks on pieces of paper, and then I numbered them and I got one of my girls to pick. So today we're doing an open cut crease. Now I don't know what the technical name of it is, but that's what I'm going to call it. I'm a little bit nervous but also excited because I haven't done this look before at all. This is my first go, so I'm just going to go grab my things and then I'll be back. Alright, so as you know, I usually don't refer to particular products except in certain circumstances, but with these eye looks, I'm actually going to mention the palettes that are used only, just so that if anyone really likes the colours that are used or they want to get one, they know which one it is. Also, just quickly, I was hoping to show you a maze box today, but it hasn't arrived yet. I'm hoping it will be early next week sometime, so there'll be probably another video to come next week, which will be the big reveal in a maze box. But anyway, for now, we're going to get on with this one. So I just had to grab something else because I just remembered that with this one, I'm going to need to have that clean line at the edge there, so I'm just going to tape up. What I mean by taping up is that I usually put a piece of tape along the edge of my eye there so that I can get really clean lines, especially with eyeliner. But with this look, I'm not going to be using any eyeliner. I'm going to be using the eyeshadow as the eyeliner. I know that sounds really confusing, but as we go along, it'll become clear what I mean. So I'm just going from the corner of my eye up to where I've mapped out the edge of my eyebrow there. This is just really cheap craft tape from Kmart. I just find that because it's a little bit shiny, it doesn't absorb the product, and it doesn't, like, the product doesn't bleed. Okay, so there we go, taped up. I know it's a great look, isn't it? But there is method to my madness. Now the palette that I'm using today is brand new, really exciting. I love using new palettes. It's one of my favourite things to do. It's actually the Tasty Watermelon palette by I Heart Revolution. So it comes like that. Now I'm going to open it up and show you the colours, which are amazing. So this is what we've got. Just really bright, beautiful, fun colours. And as you know, I really like to push the envelope a bit with my look, so bright colours are for me. Now, I don't know what the technical term for this look is, but I'm going to call it an open cut crease, because what we're going to do is we're going to have our main colours in this area here, then we're going to cut the crease, and then we're going to continue the colours here and maybe pop some glitter in here, because if you know me, you know I cannot have a makeup look without glitter. I have to do it. I am addicted. I have a problem. Anyway, let's crack on. So usually at for the first colour that you place in a cut crease, it's usually either your darkest or most intense colour that you're going to have in your look. Now, I'm looking at this palette and what do I choose? Like, they're all really, really nice. I'm going to have to choose something that's going to go with other things. There's a lot of red and browns and yellows. I might start off with a brown. It's called Slushy. It's this one here. So that's going to be our first colour. So I'm just loading my brush. I have a small pencil liner inner corner brush here. Okay, I think we should pray to the makeup gods. Let this turn out. Okay, so as you can see, my eye shape, you can see like where the orbital bone goes into the brow bone. So we're going to start off by placing our first colour there. So I'm just dabbing it into the inner corner, and I'm just going to follow the line of that bone structure all the way up to this brow area. A little bit more product. So basically what I'm doing at the moment is I'm creating a line, creating the shape that is going to like define our eye look for later on. Okay, so as you can see, we've got our line there. Now when we get down here to the eyeliner section, we're going to repeat the colours that we've used up there down here. But I'll show you what I mean with that in a minute. So I'm just loading up a bit more colour, because if you've ever watched my videos before, I like to do things in threes. So I always add 3 layers of eyeshadow and stuff like that. That's just my personal preference. What I would say is that just add as much colour until you've got the effect that you want. So I'm just adding more colour across that way. Now I'm just going to smooth it across, just to make sure that that shape is nice and even and it's quite rounded. Now I'm just gonna I'll place the eyeliner shade and then I'll do the other eye off camera. Just, you know, sometimes if the videos get too long, when I'm trying to upload them, it like literally takes all day. So I think what I might do here is I might start at the middle of my eyelid, and I'm just going to like angle it along the tape here, but I'm actually going to take it like right up to about here, where it would normally meet that line, but because it's an open cut crease, we're not going to continue the line right down. As I said, it's the first time I've attempted this look, so we'll see how we go. So I'm just kind of rubbing it back and forth to make sure that it's like it's meeting up. You don't have like a blob of colour here and then no colour here. So I'll just load on some more product. As you can see, I'm starting to get that line. And then when we take the tape off later, it'll like show how we've got that clean, crisp line at the edge there. Okay, so as you can see, we've got our first colour in. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video, and off camera I'm going to put the other eye, and then we're going to get started with our next colour. Okay, so as you can see, we've got our two eyes with our first colour applied. I think I might need a slightly smaller brush than what I've just gotten. Okay, so this one here is a little bit bigger than our pencil brush. We're just going to use that to shade in the next colour and blend the two together. Now I'm just kind of thinking about the colours, because usually you have your darkest and your colour progressively gets lighter and brighter as you go on. So I'm just trying to think what I might like to use next. And I've just looked at this colour here called Melonade, this terracotta orange colour, and I'm kind of liking it. So you know what, we're just going to do it. We're just going to do it. If it doesn't turn out, well, you know what, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to dab it on, slightly overlapping that brown so it blends out easily, and along that line that we created with the first colour, if that makes sense. And as you can see, the colour's diminishing a bit as I go further along that line, but that doesn't matter because we'll pop some more on in a minute. So here goes our second layer. And as you can see, the colour's actually kind of meeting up with my eyebrow. That's okay, we can live with that. What I'm actually going to do later on in the eye look is I'm going to actually use the glitter to marry up the two. Like I'm going to kind of place glitter in here so that like there's a connection between this part here and this part here. This is a really nice colour actually, it's quite intense. I'm liking it, so that's good. As you can see, where that colour was diminishing before, it's now starting to build. That's the thing with eyeshadow, the colour is buildable. Like you don't have to have it all bright and intense like this. You can have a softer, more neutral look. You can do whatever you want. That's the thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna dip into the colour and tap off the excess now, because I'm just blending and I don't want to add a whole heap more product because I've got the level of colour that I want. I'm just blending. So I'm just rubbing the brush back and forth over that part where we overlapped the brown and the orange, just so that they there's no harsh lines between the two colours. You know what? I like that. I do. So now we're going to place our Melonade, which is our second colour, along like our eyeliner strip, I'm going to call it, because I feel like that's the best way to describe it. And as you can see, again, it's almost meeting up with the colour we did before previously, but later on when we cut the crease, there'll be more of a gap there. And anyway, we want a connection between the two so it doesn't look like we've got two strange techniques in the one area that don't really belong together. Okay, so a little more, and then I'm gonna blend again. If you're having trouble blending, or as you can see with this bit here, it's almost seeming like the brown's disappearing into the orange, you can always go back in with your previous colour and just add a bit more, which is, I'm going to do that in a minute. I'm just going to rub this along, and then I'm just going to add a tiny bit more of that brown. I think it was called Slushy. That was the colour name. Yep, Slushy, that's the one. And I might even just add a little bit here too, just, you know, for argument's sake. So I'm just going to rub it along here where the two colours meet. Yep, that's better. And there's enough colour just here, but I think where the colour diminishes here, we'll just add a slight amount more. Yep, I'm happy with that. At the moment, it looks like a mess, and it doesn't look like it's going to turn out to be anything spectacular. But you've got to just stick with the process, because once you do all of your other things, it will become apparent that like the look's coming together. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead again and do the other eye off camera, and then we'll be back again to place our third and final eyeshadow colour. I don't think I'm going to place any colour actually in that crease, but we're definitely going to do a brow bone colour and a inner corner colour with one of these amazing shimmer shades, but we'll talk about that later on. Okay everybody, as you can see, we've got both eyes down now, and even though it still looks a little bit like a mess, you can start to see the look appearing. Now, I was kind of thinking about colours when I was doing the other eye off camera, and you know what, I've just got to choose this colour up here. It's called Sunshine. So with our last colour, it's going to be our lightest colour for blending purposes mainly. So you know what, we're going to just dive in. Look at that pigment. Amazing. And just quickly, I'm using a large fluffy blending brush. And again, patting the colour in. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of applying up and to the side of the nasal bone. So that's definitely going to help when I'm doing my nose contouring later on. I think I might try, when I upload the video, to either put a still shot in the comments or at the start of the video with the actual final look, because I haven't done that before. I've kind of just left it and you don't really get to see what it looks like at the end, so I think I might start doing that. Okay, so this is our third layer. And as you can see, some of those previous colours are getting covered up a little bit. As I said before, we can always go back in and add more. So now I'm just going to use like circular movements, and I'm holding my brush down at the end so I'm not applying too much pressure, and we're just going to kind of like melt those colours in together. It's reminding me of autumn at the moment. I kind of like that. We don't want any harsh lines in this area here. So we're really going to blend that quite well, and if necessary, as I can already see right now, we might need to add a little more of our orange, that melonade colour, just to give us that progression of colour. And then later on, when we're finishing off the look, if we need to add something anywhere, we can just like review that later. Now I'm just tapping into my melonade gently, and I'm just kind of softening that edge just there where it starts to meet up with the nasal bone. I always use bone structure as points of reference because it's going to be different on anyone. That, like, if you do their makeup, So at least if you use their bone structure as a point of reference, then you know it's going to suit them because you're following what's already naturally there. Okay, that line there is bothering me, so I'm just placing a little bit of extra colour along there. As you can see, it's starting to soften. It does not matter how many times you have to go back in and soften it up, because blending is the thing that you should take the most time doing, because blending is everything. Okay, so I'm just placing a little bit more of the yellow just to intensify the colour there, because we've just loaded in some more of the orange to blend those lines. And you know what? I'm just going to add a slight amount more of the yellow, and then I think that will be quite good. As I said, you can always come back in later and add more colours if you're not happy. And sometimes I do that when I've like done my eyebrows and I've like put in the brow bone highlight here. You know what? I'm getting pretty happy with it. It looks soft. The colours are quite nice and intense. So yeah. So we're going to grab our yellow again. Amazing colour. And I'm putting it right in the corner of my eye, as you can see that little yellow bit there. And I'm going along that line that we made earlier. So as you can see, the two are kind of coming together now. And then when we cut that crease in a minute, that line will become more defined, and that will give us our area to marry the two techniques with the glitter. Already though, I'm liking it. I've actually been looking at this kind of technique online for quite some time now and really been liking it, but I haven't tried it out yet. So this is a good test. And also we get to use a new palette as well, so you know what, double plus. So I'm just blurring a little bit along there. And with this one, I don't think I need to add any more orange, but I am going to add a little more yellow, because I think because that bit's on the eyelid, it just needs to be a little bit lighter and brighter, because it's like this little beam of light going up that way, and I quite like that. Now when we end up doing our glitter in a minute, to marry up the two techniques, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to match the glitter to the colours that we've got. Like I might do some bronzes and some oranges and some gold. Wow. But then what I'm going to do, when I do the brow bone highlight, I'm going to choose like a light colour that fits in with this colour scheme. But then when I do my pop of colour in the inner corner, I'm going to do like a contrasting complementary colour. Now, as we've got brown, yellow and orange, I think I'm going to choose a blue, a really intense turquoise, because I think that will be amazing. Okay, I'm getting happy with that, and I'm just adding a little bit more orange. And you know what? I'm happy with it. I'll just come a little bit closer so you can see how softened that shadow is. Now I'm just going to again pause and go and do the other eye off camera. Okay everyone, so I'm back. I'm actually really happy with how it looks, and I'm really surprised. So this is the part where we're going to cut that crease. Now I've just got a tube of white eye base here. You can use concealer, it's fine. I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit onto the back of my hand. Now I've just got a very small flat detail brush and I'm just dabbing it into the eye base. Here goes. Now I'm just gonna pop it in the corner there, because what you normally do with a cut crease is like you put the eye base along here and then it prints onto the top of your eyelid, but we don't want to get rid of that colour there, so you know what, we're gonna have to do it this way. I think I might need a mirror. I better take my two little jacks off. That sounded really bad. Moving on. So what I'm just doing is I'm just creating a line along here with my eye base. Hopefully you can see that, but I just need to, like, this mirror kind of zooms in, so I kind of need that at the moment. I'm just following that curve that we made with the eyeshadow. As you can see, it's not very straight, but we'll deal with it later. As I said earlier, this is the first time I've done this eye look, so it might be a couple of goes until I get it quite how I want it, but at this stage I'm happy with my first attempt. So as you can see, we've got that line there. That's going to be our void area. I'm just going to pat the colour along there. Well, sorry, not the colour, the eye base. And I'm just kind of dabbing it in there. And now I'm just smoothing it out. Now, as with all cream colours, because we're not going to be putting eyeshadow in that area, I will set it with powder. Oh God, look at that. That's better. Now I just want a little more in this inner corner area here. Yep, that's pretty good. Now I'm just going to use a clean, no product, fluffy brush to kind of blur that a little bit. Just so that there's not like eyeshadow and then eye base, if you know what I mean. And I'm also softening the product so it's not so harsh. You know what? I'm happy with that. Now, before I go ahead and do the other eye off camera, we're just going to set it with powder. This is just a translucent loose powder. I'm just going to pat it in that area where we've placed our eye base, just so it's not going to go anywhere and it's going to be nice and soft looking, because as you remember, that's going to be our void area where we're going to place our glitter. And you know what? I'm happy with it. So I'm just going to go off camera again and do the other eye, and then we're going to come back and do the brow bone. glitter. Come on down.
Why is there rice in the sink?
What?
Why is there rice in the sink?
Oh, probably because I was washing rice out of something. You know? Okay. That one. That one. Come on. Yeah. Glitter glue.
Why does one side of my toast taste like what your makeup smells like?
I don't know. I didn't put no makeup.
What did you do to the top of that box?
I don't know. I don't like it.
I'm over. A lot of people don't. I'm used to it. What?
Tegan, can you just turn that down a little, darling?
Yeah.
Thank you. Where's my mirror?
What the hell? Why did you do? Dad, you want to break all the bones?
I even used to play that game when she was little.
What?
Break your bones. Tegan was like, why would you want to break all your bones?
Because everybody used to make fun of me that I didn't have a broken bone. They were, oh, you're a pussy. And I'm like, I'm not a pussy. Have you seen the things I've eaten? Did you see what I did to that kid that made fun of my friend yesterday? I took his lunchbox, climbed a hedge, and shoved all his food over the fence that I didn't like and ate the stuff that I did like. True story, actually, and then fell off that bush. The friend was crying the whole time. I'm not ashamed.
See you later.